This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast featuring Colteastwood, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, XNC Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the XNC Podcast live. Welcome to the Metaverse. Welcome to an alternate reality where I'm doing a show on a Sunday afternoon instead of a Monday night. But it is a crazy schedule. For those of you in America that care about American football, the Super Bowl is kicking off in a few hours from now. I don't know, 3.5 hours. And then I usually have my show tomorrow. But tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And all you lovers out there, this one goes out to you. Maybe we might teach you a thing or two about love, but today, this is the 40th episode. What show was this?
Did I agree to this?
This guy over here is like, what did I... Over here? This guy over here is, what did you agree to? I am so happy to have one of my best friends in the entire planet, Gaz from GameOn Daily. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, bro. You pointed the wrong way. But yeah, I am great, and thank you. Yes, likewise you are. No, that way. The other way. Left. Your
this
left.
Way?
That way. That way. That's the way. Yeah.
I don't know.
That looks
well,
weird.
We'll see.
So, thank you so much, man. Sunday show and one-on-one. Is this going to be a tutorial on how to make Valentine's Day
love.
Special? What? But yeah, no, looking forward to this. Always with you, Brad. I'm hyped. And it's 8 p.m., so I have more energy than I normally do because you do the show at 1 a.m. every time.
I know. I feel like I feel so terrible, but the audience needs you. But yeah, you're right. It's not 1 a.m. over there in London town. It is 8 p.m. for you. So yes, much better. And what a great show we have in store for you today. This is the 40th episode. I started the show at the beginning of May because of Gaz. Is he over here? Is he over there? I don't know. One of the Gazes in the multiverse. I started the show because of him. He pushed me to start this show. I was going to drag my feet, but thank you so much for being here. Well, over 200 people who are watching the show. This is the XNC Podcast, the Xbox Newscast podcast, where I get people from the industry, people from the community, and fellow gamers that think they know everything to talk about what we love the most. And this show is also on Spotify, Google, Pocket Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and a couple other platforms you can listen to on demand. So if you've got a busy Sunday, you can always check it out there. But I'm so excited, Gaz. Let's see. Noel says, I have a new mic. It sounds different. I don't know. No, same mic, same setup. I haven't really changed anything. But, well, Gaz, what have you been doing all week? Have you been playing video games?
Yes, I have. I've been playing a brand new game that I haven't played before called Apex Legends. Okay, fine. I'm sorry. I'm addicted, okay? I'm addicted to the game. They got a new season, new control mode. I've been playing that. Playing Dying Light as well, which is actually a lot of fun. Zorka thinks the story's crap. I've started it and I think it's okay. I can say that word, right? It's not a swear word. Not Zorka. But I've been playing
Zucker is a toddler. But
yeah,
he doesn't like the story-based games, huh?
No, Zorka has pretty poor taste in story-based stuff. But in terms of shout out to Zorka.
We love the guy.
Lost Ark. I downloaded that because the whole world is playing that game. It's a Korean action RPG that has taken the world by storm, setting records, and I've downloaded it. And there was a queue there, and I'm like, I ain't got time for that. Back to Apex Legends, working on a video.
It's like the biggest PC exclusive in like a decade. Like they haven't had a hot game like that in a bit, huh?
Yeah, man. Like that I don't know. I don't know what it is. What's the magic formula? Apparently, the game is really easy. There's something for everyone here. I'm not. I've never. Don't judge me. I've never played a Diablo game or Path of Exile. All my friends are massively into that, and they're like, just play it. Play Diablo, and I will do.
Well, this is more like an MMO, I think, than a MOBA.
It's like Diablo, but it's in a massively multiplayer, like online world, and that's really good. There's PvP in there. Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. So I'm gonna try it, see what it's like if I have time. But we make videos. It takes 12, 15 hours of video for me because I'm still learning.
That's because you traipse around town making skits for your videos that draw people and people love that stuff. Shout out to Fonzarelli Gaming in the chat, who's helping moderate the chat. He's got his show running in 2 hours. Will be done before he gets going. This is his day. He does the show. And shout out to Iron Lords, who are also doing their show today. A lot of great podcasts out there. Gaz, I want to talk to you about Dying Light before we get rolling in because kind of a mess, but I love the game. I love it so much. Shout out to Hargeet Chani, who's also in the chat. He's been on Party Chat with us like nonstop while I've been playing the game, and I just love it. But we got to talk about these developers dropping games with a lot of problems. What have you seen?
Yeah. So actually, incidentally, one of the reasons why apparently Lost Ark is doing well is because it's been out in the wild for 2 years. People are finding it refreshing that the game doesn't have that many bugs because it's like complete, like the kind of experience we were used to seeing all those years ago. And it's getting a really kind of tiresome, problematic that games don't launch. Oh, it's almost as if we now accept that, oh, that game wasn't that buggy. It's like, why we need to... I don't get it. It's like, it's really bad. Cyberpunk was obviously the big offender here. Dying Light 2, everyone's had problem. Dealer had 30 hours in the game, and he had to restart it. Now he's 15 hours more into the game. I started it. Jeez. I had crashed so many times. I had that audio bug when the cutscene was happening. When the game restarted, I missed out the whole cutscene. Where it sounds
like somebody's next to you with an electric razor.
It was like that. It was like that. It was like, and I was like, oh, what's happening? I was actually engrossed in the story, and then
what's
the game
that sound
crashed.
again, Gaz? Do it again.
That's what your viewers need to hear, the sound of me replicating a buzzing sound. But yeah, it's a great game, though. It's a great game. I'm enjoying it. But it's
it's I go straight to the electric razor. That's me. But shout out to the chat. Hey, when he was talking about Dealer's glitch, Dealer got a glitch where it said you're away from the mission area and you have 4 seconds to return, and his character dies over and over. You can't reload. There's no manual saves.
So
this is bad. Some of the bugs I've had, they just patched it for VRR, so you get better performance. But now the audio's like crazy, like sounds like the zombies are doing dubstep or something. Why is this? This is another thing I get, guys. Like when I open a trunk, instead of the trunk opening up, the trunk goes like this. It flickers.
I saw Crossfire X, another game that's launched with bugs, and I saw videos someone shared on Twitter, and they were shooting the enemy, and the enemy was going for every shot. It just looks so funny to me. I want to play the game just for that weird bug. It's so random. Like, do not bug test these games. Apparently, the game is buggy as hell. Dying Light 2 is filled with bugs. There's so many bugs. And
you get two responses to these bugs. Like, you'll get the person that's like, oh, they're not that bad. I can still enjoy the game. And I'm in that camp. Like, you just have to forgive them. Because you're right, Gaz. It's like, this is like the norm. Hey, it's not all that buggy, right? Yeah. Then you get the other people are like, I've played for 26 hours and I haven't seen a single bug. I'm like, are you?
Oh my God. I was like, well, who cares? Okay, well done. You happen to I say that. I just remembered.
Uh-oh.
I said, so Returnal was a big offender with this and there were a lot of bugs. I also said, well, I haven't come across bugs. But what I didn't say was try to downplay it. I said, well, I haven't come across bugs, so the game's okay. I just felt like, okay, wow, I was lucky, but this is a thing that needs to be resolved. And you're right. It's just, companies need to do better. I know there's a lot of pressure, spiraling development costs, and in fact, Dying Light 2, I think, represents maybe perhaps a good example of a smaller delay benefiting developers, because traditionally, what we've always said, or we've had devs on our show say, they would rather have a longer delay window so they can get things right and do more. Whereas something like this maybe perhaps could have done with a shorter delay window. I don't know.
What we don't know, I'd love to talk to some developers about this. So maybe you have, like, it looks like something like Dying Light needed a 2-week delay, but maybe the logistics of publishing and getting stuff out and retail, like, you're just kind of locked in. You kind of reach... Maybe when they say they go gold, you're almost at the point of no return where you have to keep going till the end of the train tracks ends, where they can't just say, look, we got a couple bugs that people are going to really be upset about. We need 2 weeks or we need 3 weeks. And the publishers and everybody's like, you can't just delay it. Like, we're at the point of no return. Do you think that's probably what happens? Because this happens a lot.
I mean, I'm not well versed in the intricacies of development, but I do know, like, perhaps there's a lot of pressure there. Generally, in any field, you can see there's so many moving parts, things you do not anticipate. Dealer, he's in the chat. Shout out Dealer.
I was just gonna read a super chat that reminded me of Dealer. That I was just looking at it while you were talking. This one's from Calantis with the $2 says, Gaz bringing the special sauce. He says, go dogs. And that was like a joke that went around when Dealer and I were doing the show like a month ago. Someone said go dog for like the Georgia Bulldogs college football game, which I'm like, that's way over my head. I'm not even paying attention to that. And so Dealer and I were making jokes that go dogs, there's a good website to sell your Crocs. But Gaz, let me get some supers before we roll into the I don't want to go too far ahead. I want to say, because we were talking about the bugs, I think Techland is super, super talented. And I love Dying Light 2 a lot. And I can see how amazing they are. So, like, when I say this stuff, and I'm sure Gaz is with me on this, we love these developers. We want the best for them and they're best for their product. And I think Techland is good. They're really good. So as long as they can get that together, the game's amazing. Gamers Watch with a £5 super chat. Thank you, Gamers Watch. Says, finally, Gaz, you're not going to have to stay up till 4 a.m. to be in a podcast in the States. Sauce fever in full swing. Sony would definitely be censoring you.
Ooh, Gamers Watch. They don't hold back. Shout out to Gamers Watch. Great podcast. Not for the family, because they are pretty X-rated.
Oh, dang.
I like it. No, they're not X-rated, but they don't hold back. They don't hold their tongues.
They're
and I like it.
NC-17. But and you know what, we Gamers Watch, we are going to talk about this censoring thing in a little bit. That's going to be a really dicey situation. So you have two guys like us talking about this. You got me, and I'm like, I'm just a little angel, and then Gaz is like, I can't yell.
I was going to pull out my gun here, but I don't want to get you banned, so I'll leave it at. I was actually going to do that. It's a replica gun. It's not America.
No, I was going to see if I have anything in the drawer of doom, but no, I don't. And Guanacus, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, what gets announced this week that has people buzzing about Game Pass? Are we due for another game? It's like every 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, mate, let me catch up with my backlog, guys. It's just like everyone's like, what next? What next? I know you dealers, Zork, all of you guys play relentlessly. I rate that so much. I don't sleep and I still don't manage. Although I should stop playing Apex Legends. I have a problem. But there's so many games. So I don't know what's coming next. I'm trying to catch up with my backlog.
Dip your toe into the little ones once in a while. Like, I'll load up a game and go, okay. I played some game that's like an isometric kids like being attacked by aliens. I play that like 5 minutes. I'm like, nope, not for me. But that's not really what you have to do with Game Pass. But shout out to Hargeet Johnny. He's been a channel member for 8 months. He's got the Ori and the Blind Forest icon that I created. And he says a whole bunch of hashtags. Are you ready for this, guys? XNC on Sunday. Hashtag PS is in a monopoly. Hashtag XNC moves to Gazistan. Absolutely. Hashtag it's Gaz's birthday every day in Gazistan. Fact. And hashtag watch Iron Lords or XNC. I would recommend both, and that noise would drive you crazy. But shout out to the Iron Lords.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hargeet Chani. He's amazing. Good friend. Maybe someday Hargeet and Gaz on XNC. Maybe. I think it'd be fun.
Holly is wicked. There's so many good things to say when he's not Speaking in hashtags.
What was that thing you should do? The hashtag. Sigma, thank you so much for the $10 super. He says, I could have sworn it was Sunday. Oh, wait. Hit the like button, y'all, for Coltina and the sauce.
Coltina.
Yeah, that's my female name, I suppose. Yes, hit the like button if you're watching the show. We got over 400 people here. This is Gaz from GameOn Daily. He and Asa run a gaming aggregate site called GameOnDaily.com. They also have a podcast every Saturday. So please go support them. And if you like this show and you think you're going to have a good time, you can minimize the chat for a second, hit the like button, bounce right back, and we're going to get into the topics because it's going to be a good time today. Let's see. I got one more. Hargeet Chani, thank you so much for the $5. He says, didn't Techland get some cash from Xbox for Dying Light 2? Should they have taken more and put it into Game Pass to delay the game a bit and finish it up? So, Gaz, I get a lot of heat for this one. So, about 2 years ago, I did a video, maybe a year and a half ago, I did a video about Dying Light 2 possibly being exclusive to Xbox or Xbox acquiring Techland. But there is proof, or there is a report that Xbox helped fund some of the development of Dying Light 2. So Hargeet's asking,
so buggy?
Why is it buggy? Yeah.
Is that why it's buggy?
Yes!
This is the first time I'm hearing of it. If they've helped develop Dying Light 2, then surely the bugs are on them. I know it doesn't work like that, but what are you leading to that? What are you trying to say? That acquisition season again? Are you saying Techland's going to be relatively cheap buy, even if it is on the cards? Will people be excited about it? I don't know.
I mean, they were talking about 2 years ago about acquiring a studio in Poland or that area, that part of the world, and Techland would be a good get because they're really good. The bugs, you got to fix the bugs, but they'll get it. They'll get it. Techland is really famous for a lot of support in their games. They add a lot of content and they have really great DLC. So I expect it to be good. So that's Hargeet Chani. And then Victor Laster with a $10 super. He might have meant to write something. Yes, he did. Victor, please send your comment and I'll make sure that my moderator or producer snags that and gets it on there. But you guys are amazing. Gaz, let's get into what we're going to talk about. There is some very controversial news that went on this past week, some fake news that went on, and some flops and what's that we're going to talk about. And I want to get on the show by starting about this thing that happened yesterday. I woke up to a report, guys, that that the hardcore Xbox fans were sending death threats to the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, because Activision games would be multi-platform. Let's get your take on your reaction to this. Did you see this unfold yesterday? Would have been yesterday evening for you.
I saw it and I instantly knew it was fake. I knew it was fake, not because I had so much faith in IGN's reporting. That's not a slight on them. That sounded really negative, but they really did. I wasn't meant to be that way. But it was just the personalities or the trolls that were tweeting it. So you know me, I just kind of like swimming in the sauce, right? And I saw that and I was like, this is a new low. And the part of me was like, you know, that's source material. You keep doing that, I'm going to weaponize it and make you look like a fool. But this really takes the cake. You have so many games, fanboys, that you have time to make fake articles and then propagate them and then get the whole little dream team of fanboys to share it out. And they immediately, I say fanboy, they're fanboys and absolutely substandard content creators. Come at me. Yeah. And they will go like with their fakens and this is absolutely reprehensible. Like, you don't care.
Of course the Xbox fanboys should be doing this.
Of course. course. The one time they actually cared about Phil Spencer, apparently. These guys that have been memeing Phil Spencer, they pray to any deity they worship that something bad happens to Phil Spencer.
They've got memes of him in a casket with his name on it,
yeah,
and like all of a
all
sudden,
that stuff. And then they're like, "Oh my god, this your concern trolling wasn't fooling anyone." And then, what was the long-term strategy here? Because this is actually emanating from the same troll, and I'm telling you, it's not a woman. It's a bloke somewhere who's done multiple accounts in the same kind of format, because I received the same kind of thing when I made a source video when I was saying Forever Physical was hijacked by the PlayStation fanboys. It was the same guy. Then he sent me DMs, take that video down. I'm like, shut your mouth, you. I'm
Don't tell me
down.
what to do.
I'm going to lather myself in your tears. It was the same guy who tweeted to the president of the United States, please stop the Activision Blizzard thing. We're so scared.
Well, and that's some heavy allegations here, Gaz. You think it's the same person? I mean, I've got it in my mind.
It doesn't matter. I'm giving them credit. If it's not the same person, it's a collection that have formed this human centipede of substandard, intellectually deficient people who don't know what they're talking about. But they keep giving me material, so keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Oh my gosh.
It's so sad, though. Isn't it sad? The same guy who begged President Biden to do this. So dumb, but it's fun.
Block the acquisition. Block it.
That's what they're like. And this was the same. Oh, look.
They're on the red phone. Mr. President, block it.
The long-term strat. What was the long-term strategy? IGN came out and made them look so bad. Yeah.
Well, so here's the funny part. Here's so I saw the usual suspects, and I don't know. We often assume that, there's over 500 people watching. Welcome to the show. If you're having a good time, you think you will, we promise we'll give you a good show. You can hit the like button and show your support. But I don't know how many of the people watching are like keyed in on Twitter of all places, because there's places like Reddit, which I don't really hang out with. There's Facebook and gaming, whatever, right? Yeah. But on Twitter, like, there was the usual suspects that I've had blocked and then have me blocked for years that were like, yeah, I can't show you proof because IGN pulled down the article. They took it down. They took it down. Did you see that? That was like, and then there was the people that swore. They were like, no, I saw it. I saw it before it was taken down.
Yes. And I've got the screens. I've got the receipts. Thank you for the material. Thank you. I love you so much. I love you. Keep doing it.
Gaz over there just twirling his villain mustache.
It is to the point where I feel like I owe them royalties for the source. I just keep doing it. What the hell are you doing? I mean, the people that actually went out their way to say, I saw it. Yes, stop. They retracted the article, and the guys were like, IGN were like, no, we didn't. Well, what did you think was going to happen?
So
if there was, it's so dumb.
So the what Gaz is talking about is one of the IGN editors or writers that the faked screenshot of their website was drummed up, right? Something Kim, his name was like he wrote the article, and so he spoke up on Twitter an hour or two after this kind of like popped off and said, that article, we didn't write that article, and as per policy, we don't take down articles. Yeah. So caught and checkerboarded. No VR, 4K.
He's so fat.
Hey, shout out to Erica for the win with a $5 super chat. She says, Erica. Sauce!
It's Erica. Erica's a beast. This is G. I was going to say Geest. Yeah, instead of G and Beast, I was going to combine it together. You're a Geest.
She's a beastly G. Had her on the show last week with Kid. And we had a really good time, and you need to get her on the show with one of her buddies. I will pay to watch that show as per always. And a shout out to Percolator 9000 with the $5 super chat. He says, hello, Colt, and happy birthday, Gaz.
Thank you, Perk. Thank you for the birthday wishes.
And guess what, guys? You guys can mess around all you want about Gaz's birthday, but I know his real birthday. Yeah, I dug into the classified files last night. So I will not. I will take it to the grave. So yeah, so the Phil Spencer thing did not go well for the fanboys. They were using it as ammo, and then did it just kind of dissolve away yesterday, guys?
It did, because what happened was all the usual suspects really latched onto this with their fake concern, because from a mile away, and then so it turned around, and they were forced to then say, okay, my bad, including one person who actually swore he saw the article, clicked on it and everything, and he was like, oh yeah, my bad. What do you mean my bad? You lied. You blatantly lied. Like, anyway, as a non-story, chat might be wondering why you're talking about it, but in Twitter it was dominating it. IGN had to address it, and it kind of state of affairs of the industry where things are shifting positively in favor of Xbox, to the point where PlayStation fanboys, not fans, fanboys, feel like they're running out of ammo, whereas naturally last generation they had so much bad news was coming day and day. They were so used to that, so they've been conditioned to getting bad news. Now they're so badly conditioned, they're getting withdrawal symptoms. They have to generate their own fake news to just pacify themselves, and it's not working.
It is one of those things where they needed something to go against Xbox fans, and I mean, it's actually kind of as dumb as people can be. It can be pretty brilliant, because everyone's going to believe that screenshot before they believe the truth, and just us talking about it kind of gives them that ammo to keep doing that stuff. But I saw somebody on Twitter who's made some allegations against me, saying I swore I saw the article this morning, and this same person had to come out in front of public and say, oh, what I said about Cole, I actually confused him with somebody else. So please be careful about news as you hear it. Please be careful. Anything can be doctored. In fact, I could put Gaz in my face on any movie poster.
We've done that multiple times.
I mean, you don't want to mess around with the best. I've got 15 years of Photoshop experience. I will put you in a prison somewhere on a desert island.
It's a bit harsh.
No, but not really. No, be nice. Be nice, please. I got to read this one. I don't know if this was what he wanted to say, but oh my gosh, it scrolls. The chat's amazing. You guys are cruising. Victor Lasser said, what's up, Colt? Happy birthday, Gaz. I think that might have been the super he meant to say, but if not, just write if you had a question. And then Gaz returns, why do you do this? I sent you a super, and you got to turn around and send me a super. Why don't we just call it even? It's not my birthday. All right. So that's just kind of a warm-up thing, but there is kind of an interesting positive Phil Spencer related news piece that came out a few days ago, and the head of Platinum Games begged Phil Spencer to revive Scalebound. Yeah. He did. He said, please, Phil, please, let's work together.
Is that good news?
What's that?
Is that good news? It just seems like...
Okay, let me set this up, Gaz, and I want you to take hold of the horse and just ride with this one. Phil Spencer and Platinum Games, they've got this troubled history. Fans were like, oh, Scalebound looks so amazing for years, and then they kind of stopped talking about it, and then in 2017, I think it was, might have been 2018, they finally announced they totally canceled it. All of a sudden, everyone, PlayStation fans, PC fans, Nintendo fans, Xbox fans are like, oh, the travesties, Scalebound is gone forever. And I'm like, what? Like, I never thought this game looked cool, but
yeah,
they kind of changed their tune when it became like an official probability. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know where I'm getting at here, guys?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because I remember very clearly that failure, that and Phantom Dust represented complete mismanagement on Xbox's side as well. Let's not just completely blame Hideki Kamiya there, but ultimately...
Shout out to you for remembering the name and pronouncing it correctly, bro.
Yeah, he's a bit of a character on Twitter and stuff. He'll block you if you don't speak English to him. It's quite funny. But he's...
What?
Yeah, trust me, it's the thing people will know in chat.
He's passionate about and loves what he does.
Very eccentric. Yeah, he is passionate. But it was so obvious to me, and I said it for years on different forums or whatever, that this reeks of Platinum biting on more than it could chew. It reeks of them doing that. The way the language there was, and Hideki, the way he was... like before Gamescom, he would push out these really aggravating tweets against Microsoft, like, this is not professional. you have clearly been. This was supposed to be their most ambitious game ever. So ultimately, for people who don't know, Scalebound got cancelled because Platinum didn't really know how to navigate through the Unreal Engine then.
Yep.
So they struggled with that and the scope of the game, and perhaps maybe Microsoft and its maybe mandate for multiplayer maybe threw them off as well. So when Hideki comes back on Twitter of all places, and Asa mentioned this point yesterday on the show, isn't it weird that he comes on Twitter of all places to make this request? But when he does make this request, I'm part of me, and I don't even work at Xbox. I'm like, well, hold on a minute. Why are you asking for that? It's like, oh, he said, oh, you're not doing anything with Scalebound. Just give it to us. I'm like, oh yeah, after you squandered all the money you got, possibly, massive disclaimer, possibly siphoned that to your other tens of projects that you were working on at the time. And now you want to go ahead, hey, Microsoft, let us do something with Scalebound. Give us more money so we can screw you over again, unless Hideki can say, everyone, sorry, this is what happened, this was why it went wrong, now we have learned our lesson, this is the game we're going to deliver, this is the intention here, this is how amazing it can be, what we will do. If they can't do that, then why on earth would Microsoft give them money? Why should we be excited?
Can I add to that, Gaz? Like,
no,
when you talked about the squandered money, shout out to Asa in the chat too. I saw Asa like a few minutes after I was giving you guys the stuff. Shout out. Asa's amazing. I love. Yeah, Asa's amazing. I don't know what else to say. He's so smart and funny. But anyway, I forgot what I'm thinking because all I can think about is Asa. They squandered this money. Like, if you look back in the Xbox One, PS4 generation, Platinum Games put out Transformers Destruction or Devastation. They put out this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that flopped so bad, and I want it to be good. They put out Bayonetta 3 on the Switch. They put out a bunch of games. I think they put out Nier Automata. They put out so they put out at least 5 major games during the Scalebound development time. And so I made like you were talking about, you don't want to say something that's allegedly or like controversially, pins them. But when you look at it, like when you float money to a studio to create something, and they're working on Scalebound, and then they crank out this turd, that okay game, this great game. And then you're like, like Phil walked in as new head of Xbox and goes, hey, how are we doing on Scalebound? They're like, they had to minimize their screen because they're working on like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. That's not the same studio, but that's kind of how it looks, right? So this upsets people who really like Platinum Games, and of course they pinned it on Xbox. Phil Spencer comes in, Don Matrick and everything, like they can't manage their studios, but he came in and how are we looking at Scalebound? Like Phil's like looking over their shoulder, like how's Scalebound looking? And he's like, oh, it's looking rough. And they're like, they said, Phil, we need 1 more year, which means more time and another year of funding. And Phil goes, get out. And that's kind of how it was. He was like, you know what? We're done. They had to look at the numbers. Like, we're going to take a loss. We're going to take a bath on this investment. We'll hold on to the IP, but we can no longer fund the studio who kind of led us astray. And so, like you were saying earlier, Gaz, Platinum Games did admit that it was mostly all their fault. Unreal Engine, the online things were out of their wheelhouse. So, but the weird thing, as I take it back to you, is all of a sudden Xbox fans are like, he wants to make Scalebound. We don't want Scalebound. We're done.
I mean, look, it's easy to be, as fans of the Xbox brand, be kind of almost personally slighted by the fact that we were excited. We were looking forward to it. And then blah, 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 or whatever happened, and it flopped. And it was a very bitter pill to swallow, especially at a time where Xbox was doing terribly and desperately needed an exclusive. So,
there you go.
So there is a lot of animosity there. But at the same time, saying that if Hideki can come back and say, look, we will do this. If it was me and I did this and I was Hideki, I would come back and be like Oliver Twist, please, more money. No, but I would say, I would be like,
just one farthing, just one. Well, Gaz, do you think that, how do you say his name?
Hideki Kamiya.
Hideki Kamiya. Do you think that they saw like Phil and Satya going, came by some studios and gonna spend some money, and then they was like, but father, could I have a farthing? Just one shilling, please.
One shilling, please. Maybe that's what it looks like, because Microsoft has this money, spending 70 billion here, like it's just making it rain. They've got this surplus to spend before June, so of course it's going to be enticing.
60 billion they can spend on software and companies or whatever they want to build up.
And they know that Xbox Game Pass are desperate to make inroads globally. So Japan is a key market there. I don't know how much of appeal Scalebound in its design was geared towards Japan. So it's one of those. I mean, I don't know how much we can talk about it more than that. But really, Hideki, if you don't come up with some details, I'm pretty sure Phil Spencer's like, go away.
I mean,
who knows?
You got to play devil's advocate a little bit, because the game never looked that great to you and I, right? And I see there's some people in the chat who are like, who cares about Scalebound, right? And I think you nailed it on the head a few minutes ago when you said that Xbox fans know there's like 30 to 50 games in development right now. And so when they're not feeling as hungry as they were 3 or 4 years ago, where it's like, please, we need something. It's a new IP. At least it's something. But now there's so many games, and maybe there is room to like say, you know what, let's reinvest in Platinum, maybe with different management, with with Matt Booty and Sarah Bond and everybody who's kind of looking over global publishing, like, hey, let's try it again. Maybe we can make Scalebound on your choice of engine. But I just feel like the chat doesn't really need it. It was funny. This is a totally aside, but I saw somebody in the chat wrote, Blackbeard Jesus says Colt's scared that Bungie was bought by PlayStation, which is so crazy. I'm really happy they did. You know why, Gaz?
Why?
Because they need a first-person shooter direction, and they need online multiplayer and competitive and cooperative guidance. Absolutely.
They do. And, this is going to be a controversial topic, because everyone says, Gaz, you have ride on Halo so much. And I do, because Halo's my number one franchises, and it's just been going down the toilet, really. The way it's been handled, I'm just not happy with it. But, I will say this, Bungie's games being non-exclusive, I find it annoying. I wish they were exclusive to PlayStation, because I think then there's more competition there. It's just more of a drive to deliver, and I'll say this, there's a Halo killer coming. Who's going to make it? Is it multi-platform? There's a Halo killer coming, because Halo's legacy isn't that strong now with whatever these releases are. There's one coming. Bungie may be making it, but in multi-platform, does it really matter? But there is one coming. A sci-fi shooter that is comprehensively better and takes it to the next step. But, come on. I get it, but there's console wars, right? But Bungie, that's great for PlayStation. They desperately need it, just like Xbox desperately needs a single player. Gaz's voice is so annoying. What do you want me to do?
Talk different.
Yes, all right, you know what?
You know what I think about? I'm gonna talk like this. All right, guys. So, Rodrigo, what do you want me to do? All right, I'm gonna talk like this. I'll go hard in the paint.
I go hard in the paint. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well.
Hey, I'll give you guys I think my voice is super annoying. Whenever I send you a voice note and I listen back, I sound like this. Guys, it's really great. This is what my voice sounds like to me.
This is really wonderful. Hit me up later, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the demonic Gaz. People love it. This Bungie thing, they were pretty upfront and transparent about creating multi-platform games and not exclusives for PlayStation, but they will make something for PlayStation that's exclusive, won't they?
A way I hope so. I really like where everyone cries about consolidation, but I find it so much fun. Maybe because I'm a villain, right, Rodrigo? But I just like I like where it's going. Every console now more than ever will have an identity. Still, I want COD to be exclusive on Xbox. I do not want it to be multi-platform. We'll talk about this, I'm sure.
Yes, we will.
We definitely will. But I want PlayStation to really have that exclusive FPS to really... If some 343 need a clap, and I want Bungie to deliver that clap, how beautiful would that be? And to answer your question, hopefully... in the long term, they will, once things settle down, because things are always change. Things can change. No matter what the regulators I'll be hearing, things can change in the long term. So things are not static. So I hope so. I hope Bungie become PlayStation exclusive just for the fun and games and the drama.
Yeah, I mean, they need to bring back Resistance or SOCOM or not Killzone. I don't think Killzone was actually really making it. So, but you're right. When you say there's going to be a Halo killer, like Call of Duty is massive in sales, but people don't love it like they used to. Like the core gamers, killer, right? Like the big fans.
I'm talking about, no. There's nothing. Yeah. Look, COD is a different force. It overtook Halo ages ago in terms of whatever wide appeal. When I say Halo killer, I mean a game set in that futuristic setting, sci-fi, multiplayer, all that stuff. There's a game there that's going to come and you
just perfectly described our next topic, because there is a futuristic, immersive first-person shooter exclusive to Xbox that oh man, it landed not so well, Gaz. There was, so I got Crossfire X. Okay.
Yeah.
Smilegate is this big. I always mess this up. I think they're South Korean developer. Chat, please correct me. I remember on one show I thought I said South Korean. Someone said they're Chinese, or vice versa. But
I think it's South Korean. I'll be surprised if it's North Korean, but yeah, it's pretty sure South Korean.
Yes! So, Smilegate has this CSGO copycat that has like tens of millions of people playing it, like a huge number over in Korea. So it's a big deal, and they teamed up with Remedy to make a campaign, and the marketing was abysmal for this game. And I'll tell this to the chat. The show here, this is the first time that I've said this out in public, but their marketing team contacted me and asked me to upload a 1-minute trailer of the campaign for Crossfire X. And I'm like, and they wanted to pay me to do it. And I'm like, I don't really want a trailer on my channel, just 1-minute trailer, just sitting there that I didn't create. Like, I like to share what I've created. And they're like, well, let me see what we can do. And they said, could you do a tweet? I'm like, okay, I'll share it as a tweet. That's no big deal. Like, that's just information. And then finally they said, actually, we want you to put the 1-minute trailer in and build a 10-minute video about Crossfire X. And I'm like,
10 minutes?
No, boss.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
because
you have to. Yeah. Why did you say no?
Because my spidey senses were tingling that this game was not good. There was no hype. There was no marketing. They weren't really showing anything. They were doing the classic hide your game until it comes out and hope that a few people will buy it, which is a tactic a lot of publishers use when they know they've got a mediocre game on their hands. And then IGN did a preview of it, and this is around the time Forza Horizon 5 launched. They did a preview, and it was not good. So we're going to get into Crossfire X in here in a second. I'm going to grab a couple supers before they fill up here. Boba Fett Gaming with the Australian $5 super chat says, you're going to love this one, Gaz. Let Gaz's birthday die along with Scalebound.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Agree. One, it means I don't get older. Two, we don't get a substandard game.
Can you imagine if you're actually aging a year every day? Someone says that on a podcast. Malcolm MXLAX3 with a $1 super. Thank you so much. And welcome to the channel membership, Pesky Krogan, who just joined the channel, and it has the perfect dark emoji, foreshadowing. Remember I said that.
Welcome.
The perfect dark emoji. So if you join the channel membership, I put in the chat a little earlier, I drew up custom icons of Xbox characters. I'm gonna have to add some more, maybe do Crash Bandicoot, who knows. But welcome to the channel. If you're a channel member, you get my videos like 12 hours before they go up. I finish them in the evening, put them out the next morning, so you'll get a link to those if you care to watch them, and then you get to be first in the comment section. Say first. And
if you're gonna make a Crash Bandicoot one, can you just make him do this? in your emoji. That would set
I'll
people
just
off.
borrow it from Ben Kenobi's graphic, but I'll drop something cool. Gotham Guy, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, gosh dang it.
What is that?
Happy birthday, Gaz.
Oh my!
And then here's I can't have you on here anymore, Gaz, unless you're wearing a birthday hat. He says, I really enjoyed your video you made on Microsoft acquiring Activision. Watched it 10 times and could not stop laughing. Oh, Gaz, he loves your stuff, bro.
Oh wow! Thank you. I thought you were talking about your video.
I thought, he was talking about yours. What did you do?
Why is he laughing at your video?
Yeah, like, hey.
Yeah.
What was your skit in the Microsoft acquires Activision, like when that dropped?
It was actually pretty much a recreation of what happened in real life because I kind of spat water out everywhere. Yeah, no, I was just like, I looked at the news, I couldn't believe it. It was very similar to the Bethesda one, but this one was even more insane. It's not my birthday. So yeah, it was mad. So that skit was made instantly. Just went in there, turned the camera on. I know what I'm doing. Just go, and just had to film it out there. There was one where I was doing stuff with sauce, but the sauce I actually use is really hot sauce. So yeah, that was it.
The one where you snorted a line of it?
Snorted a line of it like it was Coke. It's
so crazy because Gaz and I are 8 hours apart on the curvature of the earth, right? And Gaz, I don't know what time it was, but it was 6 a.m. when they dropped the news. And I have a smartwatch. It was like bzzz, bzzz, it was Tim Dog. I'm like, what the heck is he calling me for? I'm like, it has to be something big. And I leaned over to my nightstand to pick up my phone. I'm like, swipe, and there's Brad Sam saying they acquired Activision. I'm like, I didn't have anything to spit out, but yeah, we're gonna move on. So shout out to Gotham Guy for loving your sauce video. People love your stuff. RDX Cinefet with Canadian $2.79 says, PlayStation is censoring Martha. We are going to get into that in a moment. Crazy Night Boy from New Zealand with a $2 super chat. Thank you all the way from New Zealand. Says, good to see Hot Saucy on the cast. Also love Phil. Hey, Gaz, can you get Phil Spencer on the show soon, please?
Yeah, I'll try again. Phil, I know you watch this. I love you. Please don't hate me. He's probably going to block me before he ever comes on my show because I'm too messy, but I love the guy. What can I say?
Hey, he saved Xbox. What can you do, all right? Nano Polymyth with the $4.49. I shouldn't say $4. £4. How do you say £4 49 pence?
Yeah, or 49p. Just say p. I know you love p. Yeah, pence.
Yes! He says, wait, I got to say before I read his super. Nano Polymyth put our face on like a Hollywood couple or something on Twitter, and Nano's the king of craziness. He says, I tried watching this on my friend's Sony TV, but they censored Gaz's face. Oh, man. Yeah, we're going to get into the censoring. One more from Mo B, who says, Cole absolutely loved the show. A great show, Gaz. Do you think we'll get some kind of show from Xbox anytime soon? Everybody hit that like button. Yes, we're going to talk about that as well. Let's move on to, we're kind of wrapped up with Crossfire X. I don't know what else to say other than, I don't know what Remedy was doing. Maybe they just put together a story for him and just said, here.
I mean, the collab did make sense in the first place. That's why it was like really intriguing. It was like, well, this is a bit weird. Remedy working with a Korean developer on a first-person game, and they're just working on the single-player component. This could be interesting. Maybe it's a passion project. Maybe they're like, oh, we can do something really special with this. And then, it's just so embarrassing. Really, I did not expect it to be this bad. In fact. We've in our montages have featured Crossfire X quite a lot because it just works well, and we wouldn't feature in it if we thought it was going to be completely substandard. So it's taken me by surprise at how bad it is, but ultimately, retrospectively, it's like, and Remedy have been inconsistent, hit and miss for me since Quantum Break. Yeah,
same. I liked Quantum Break. I didn't love it, and I just didn't really like Control. I liked Alan Wake. I wouldn't go back and play it, but I don't know. And that's okay. Like sometimes there's devs that just don't like really do it for you, but I don't know. Crossfire X, yeah, whatever. Didn't do very well, and that's just how it goes. Another thing that also didn't do very well, I got to talk about because I just went to I've seen like 3 movies since everything's been like in lockdown, and I'm in Washington State where you're wearing a mask everywhere you go in public for like 2 years straight. And so I went and saw a movie this weekend. Went and saw Spider-Man: No Way Home with Tom Holland, and he does a great performance, and it really made me appreciate the other Spider-Mans. But they had a big opening trailer for Uncharted.
Oh yeah, who saw that coming, right? Oh, well, for people who don't know, save your money, because that movie apparently is a complete train wreck. It's like 46 or 49 on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, what is Tom Holland the now new Tom Hardy that he has to be in every movie? It doesn't make sense. Like
Tom
apparently
Holland's
now
new Tom Holland, yeah.
Yeah, apparently Tom Holland's going to be
He's going to play himself in a movie. He's like the Troy Baker of no, I'm just kidding.
What was the other chat? You all know Tom Holland's being the runner-up for another game, which doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, it's the legacy of bad movie game tie-ins again. There are very few that have been good, although I will say there are some. First Resident Evil, even though it's janky, was really kind of cool. I kind of find it fun. Remember the laser scene where he slices people into bits? It's still a crap movie, but the Silent Hill movie, that was really good. I found that to be really good. Pretty unsettling.
You know what's weird though? Like, this is a Sony Pictures game. Like, this is their IP under their company, and everyone was like, "Why are you using Mark Wahlberg when?" Crap, forgot his name. The guy that plays JJ, what's his name? The news guy. What's his name?
Isn't it? No, it's not Mark Wahlberg, is it? Who is it?
No, the older guy that does the that you did. It says, "You're fired. You're hired." What's that guy's name? Come on, chat.
Oh, it's JJ. You're hired. We did the skit, man.
I know. I'm trying to remember what the actor's name is. I watched an action movie with him like last year, and he was ripped, bro. Like, he's like 60 years old. And he got cut. Like during the pandemic, he got like totally
Nathan
like in shape, like huge arms.
J. Jonah Jameson.
And I can't remember the name of the actor is, but with the mustache, he used the perfect Sully. J.K. Simmons, thank you, chat. You guys are amazing. That's why I messed it up, because the names are similar. J.K. Simmons is amazing, and he's in fantastic shape for an old guy. He would have been perfect to play Sully, but where's Nathan Fillion, like the chat says, for Uncharted? Apparently this movie flopped.
It was like it was made for that movie. It didn't make it. Yeah, and, shout out to Hogue Law. Hogue made a really funny tweet today. He goes, "All right, this bodes well for Bungie's," because Bungie's acquisition, they alluded to movie tie-ins as well. And I'm sure it'll be good, but it's just
Sony
like,
Pictures?
that's not... Yeah, with Sony Pictures. So like, is this the foundation for what? Is this a sign of what's coming next? When they cast Tom Holland, I lost all interest in the Uncharted movie anyway. So
yeah, the movie I saw was Chris Pratt. It's like one of those Netflix movies. It was pretty good. Just watch it if you're bored. It's a Netflix movie where they get pushed in. They have like a time machine that takes them back before aliens invaded. And J.K. Simmons plays Chris Pratt's dad, and he's like wearing this tight shirt, and he's totally ripped and in shape for an old dude. And it's like, and then Nathan Fillion is in the show The Rookie, which I watch like crazy, and he's in good shape. Like he's kept himself in shape for his age. So it's like put those two in the movie, but no, Sony had to go with the big names, Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland. But
doesn't make any sense.
So they've got the Last of Us movie or TV show coming as well. Just wonder how these things are going to land. It's not good to your franchise to have a flop like that. Gaz, this makes me want to talk about Halo, this TV show. Like, some people are here or there. I put your face on Cortana. Well, how do you think the Halo show is going to do?
So it's not lore. It's not like canon. Sorry. So so people are like, oh, it's not canon. It's fine. Well, it doesn't excuse it for being absolutely It just needs, like, why is Master Chief not voiced by the main guy? It just sounds weird. So it's like, I mean, the Cortana thing, maybe not. I am so, as critical as I am of Halo, I want to see exploration of the Halo universe. But please explain to me, 343, if you're watching this, you say, and the hardcore fans say, that the lore is so vast in these games, you can't tackle it in the game, which was why the game story is so substandard and whatever. wouldn't it make sense to use these live action things to extend the story and lore to the masses instead of getting them to read Greg Bear's incredible books? People don't read? Fine, make them extend it. You got a 10-year game, and you're telling me you were spending millions on making this show, but you don't want to supplement the main core 10-year arc? Get them involved with it. Makes no sense. Oh, it has nothing to do with canon. Master Chief's going to sound completely... Just voice me. Might as well make me the voice of Master Chief. It's so dumb. It's so
please
stupid.
Don't make Gaz the voice of Master Chief.
I'll be a great Master Chief.
Like, we were just talking about Quantum Break, right? How amazing would it be if the TV show was tied into Halo Infinite and they bounced back and forth? It would be the Metaverse.
You could really now you're building this stuff with the what's it called? I've completely lost. I'm so bad today. But like even with Atriox, you could just go back and like develop something here because we only got. There's so much with like people don't. I had to watch Halo Wars CGI cutscenes again, and you realize actually, you know what, the Covenant were nothing compared to the Banished, and you know there's so much. There is so much in Halo's lore that it can challenge some of the biggest sci-fi game like properties out there. If you read Greg Bear's book, The Deep Sci-Fi. There is so much scope, which is why I'm so annoyed, because I want Halo to be held at the highest standard. The potential's there. It shouldn't be a studio relegated to 50% contractors and a story that's been told. You know what? Sorry, it's gonna. I can see how it's gonna be grating for people for me to keep on going on. And I know some people don't like dissenting opinions, but I just don't. It's mind-boggling. There's so much potential. 343. What are you doing? That's my view on it. I'm not saying the show's going to be bad, but
I guess if you're a massive Halo fan, like you get the TV show, which does its own thing, and you get all that comes with it, and then when you play the next installment of Halo, you get that whole thing. So like you get all this Halo stuff, but if it was tied together, you're like, I don't like the way the show's going, and then when you go to the game, you're like, oh crap. So that could be risky, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know why they're trying if it's not canon. I don't understand why you're not doing. Why are you doing if it's not canon? You got a 10-year game. Supplement the game with this incredible lore apparently that you have. Let's see what the Endless are about. Tease us more with the Endless. It's so much scope. The world, the mendicant bias or offensive bias.
I want a whole backstory on the Marine that goes woohoo when you jump the Warthog. I want to hear like who he dated and you know how he came of age, but. I don't know.
Don't hire him. Don't hire Colt for stories.
I like. Okay, here's the pitch. You know the guy that. Yeah, that would be terrible. But that's crazy. All right, we're gonna shift gears, guys. Like totally shift gears because Miles Dopier of Windows Central wrote a great article about Xbox needed to do Xbox Direct, and which is a crazy request because Inside Xbox was a almost monthly event that did not land well with fans 90% of the time. I want to get your opinion. I don't know if you've given this much thought, but Xbox has 50 projects in the works. They can no longer just wait until E3 and the Keighleys.
Too many games. Xbox has too many games.
Way too many. So talk to me about what Xbox is going to be doing or what they should be doing with these. They're communicating their games.
Miles is bang on the money there. It's such a good problem to have. So nice, Stephen. You have to understand, chat. I was in the front. I like console warring because it's just like part of my. It's in my blood. I like just like it's like sports. And last gen, watching Xbox completely fall over its face, where Scalebound was so detrimental to the brand. Where now we're like, go away. We don't need it because we have so many good games, right? So. Now we're in this position where Xbox has so many games. I don't think they can, just an E3 showing could do it justice. Nintendo really showed everyone with their Nintendo Direct what a great format would be. In fact, in fairness to Xbox, I think their formats have been really good. Like they've been games, but follow that. I think that's the magic touch. Microsoft, I'm sure you've got a whole PR, departments or whatever, just researching in R&D, like watching carefully. And Nintendo Direct is a prime example of how to do a good show. Xbox has so many games. Bro, look at the games we have. Forget the new ones. There's so many new ones coming. What about the games they've avowed? Perfect Dark. I mean, Fable. These are big games, man. Not Elder Scrolls 6. Show us Starfield, we'll be happy. Show us Redfall, we'll be happy.
Yep.
I mean, that's 6 games alone. If you just show that in an Xbox Direct, everyone's going to be like, mad. It's so much. Fable, why have we not seen? There's so many games I keep forgetting about them.
They have a bunch of games
that
they've struck deals with, like Stalker 2. We haven't seen much more of that other than a minute and 45 of gameplay, I think. I cut these things up and put them in videos so many times. Like, I know full well a 5-minute trailer has about a minute and a half of actual gameplay in it. They have Dark Tide, which is a Warhammer game. They've got Contraband. They've got Project Dragon with the IO Interactive team. They've got Compulsion is working on something they're ready to show. Somebody in the chat said, I should find out. I love to give the props to people when they say stuff that I think is amazing. Scrolling up.
Sebastian says by the time those games are out, Xbox Series X will be the end of the gen. I hope not, because it's taking so long. But
no. I can tell you that I'm with very much confidence that the end of the generation will be 27 or 28. It's going to be a long generation. You've got like really no bottleneck on the CPU and the GPU for performance, and it should be able to go for a while. I can't find who said it, but they said quarterly Xbox Directs or Inside Xbox would be amazing. I think one of the problems with Inside Xbox, I watched a lot of them, Gaz, was the Dog and Pony Show. And I really like a lot of the people they've had. Ricari, Jeff Rubenstein, Major Nelson cracked me up sometimes when he did the white glove thing. Like, as cheesy as, like, he does this stuff on purpose. Like, some of the characters and people they've had on there are really great. Charlie, and I can't remember all these people they've had on Inside Xbox. They're good. They're really good.
Are they?
But here's, like, the gamers don't want to see them talk because they want to see the games talk. And like you said, Xbox has been doing these events. Their past 3 main events have been fantastic. Their past a couple E3s and their other summer show they did, like, where they just show games. Game trailer, not a lot of developer interview stuff. They just show game trailers, gameplays, announcements, boom, boom, boom. And they've kind of become pretty good at that.
I mean, you have to give Xbox props for the format. They've really been smashing it out. There's no E3, so I don't see how any other kind of show would be good. Devolver Digital do really funny stuff like that, but it is really funny because they do take risks. They're not overly PC. They will be quite risky with their jokes and self-aware and break the fourth wall and this and that. So generally, Xbox is not good at that. They like to play it very safe. So just be super safe. Do what gamers want. Just do a Nintendo Direct. Do an Xbox Direct.
Well, we're describing Nintendo Direct and State of Play. And those don't always hit either, right? But I don't know. I feel like there's all these games and they're not talking about them.
But
it's kind of a problem.
I see Truth Hurts in the comments. He goes, "There's literally no reason for me to own an Xbox console, but I'll come on an Xbox-centric show to tell everyone how again and again."
I'll fix Truth Hurts. There's literally no reason for me to stop making 37 accounts so I can get attention. I'll give you guys some free advice, and I've only made it so far to where I can have like amazing, 600 some people here watching. That I'm so grateful, and be able to create content like Gaz and I do, where people watch it and they can reach out. It's absolutely amazing. I'll tell you one of the biggest, most important formulas for getting attention that is actually worth keeping around. And it's to use your energy to share the things you enjoy. And if you want to go on and just make people unhappy to bring them down to your miserable level, it just doesn't work. So
souls.
We have fun, man. There's so much to be excited about. And like when we're talking about,
man. I look, you know me, man. I like the console warring, but some of that is just so bad, man.
It's so,
it's so
you just.
I also feel bad. We literally just tag team orbital laser strike that, guys. So bad.
Dude, I mean, he's used to it. He's like, he cowers down in a little like dusty old cardboard box and has to kind of like make do with what he's got in his life. And I feel bad for him. I really do. But I'm watching the chat. Like, these people are incredible. I see your names all the time, so thank you so much. Gaz and I are talking about this Xbox Direct. Welcome to the Xbox Newscast podcast, or as I call it, the XNC Podcast. And this is live on the Colteastwood channel, and it's also on demand on YouTube after it wraps, and then I get it up on Anchor, where it is on 7 different podcast platforms. So you probably listen to it on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, or other places like that. Thank you so much for all your support. Thanks to over almost 700 people who are watching. We are talking about this Xbox quarterly event because they have 50-some games and they need time to talk about them. So, yeah, like how long should these shows be? They could do one every season.
Yeah, I mean,
like just shoot for an hour.
Definitely. I mean, I'm asking for at least a couple, but like, it definitely do in this stride in a couple of years. Then it's viable after a couple more publisher level acquisitions. But no, they have. There's a lot there. I'm just saying, look, they need to, despite Xbox doing really well and great games last year, I still need to see what the Series X is capable of beyond Hellblade 2 is great. Show us more. Show us Fable. Show us Perfect Dark. Show us Avowed. I don't sound spoiled at all, like with no demands. Show us Forza.
You have every right to ask for that.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be great when they finally do show it. But I just want to see it. Chat, don't you want to see it? Don't you want to see these games? I'm so tired of CGI. So tired of talking about what these games are going to look like. I just want to see them. Colt, it's your show. Sorry. It's your show.
I love it. You're the best. Someone said that we're Batman and Robin, and I just want to claim that I'm Robin and you're Batman. Okay.
What? I'll take it. What's happened to your self-esteem that you made me the main guy in your show? Come on, man. What's wrong with you? Because you're the guy. You're the Batman. I'm Robin here. I'm
not so tough. It's like, should we really hurt him, Mr. Batman, sir? No. I totally forgot what I was going to say. You're crazy. Here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to pitch. Like, I know you guys would love this. Imagine you're watching an Xbox event where they're showcasing games. This is the games showcase I want for almost every game. I want the developers to say, let's grab, 2 or 3 minutes of gameplay that we're happy with, that looks finished or looks ready, and then have somebody from your studio just walk people through it. Show footage here and say, our new game is an immersive, semi-open world game where you play as such and such character with these powers or these weapons, right? And then you show the character playing, and then he's like, you live in a world where, bandits are out to get you, and you have to find out who you can trust. And he goes through the world, and then it's like, the world is built upon, a post-apo or whatever. Like, they describe, like, the developer is just kind of describing it as you see it. And we put in combat mechanics where you can do this, and you interact with the world this way. And we want players to feel this and be able to bring their friends in, drop out co-op, right? And then just a 3-minute trailer like that could be every trailer. And I think it's really everything that every fan is asking for when they want to see a showcase a game. Not taking like a Tears for Fears song and having some sad girl sing it like
Tears for Fears.
Everybody wants to run the world. You know how they do that? Like Ubisoft does that. They get this moody thing and it's half CGI and it's all like beautiful shots of scenery. It's like, no, they want to see behind, like what would be behind the controls. Somebody in the studio who's really good playing, curated great parts of the game. That's what Xbox needs to do to show off these games. And you can't ask for anything more other than when's it coming out?
I'm sure Xbox will deliver. They've had great shows recently, and I look forward to that format. But you're absolutely... They've been refining it to get to that level. So, and Phil Spencer, even when he was appointed, remember with him and Major Nelson standing there, he goes, no one wants to see executives there. They want games after games. And since then, they've been refining that formula. Nintendo Direct represents almost a perfection of that kind of formula. And if Xbox Xbox can do an Xbox Direct like that. Boom, here we go. There's no reason why not. They have really done it. So it just boils down to the quality of the games, and I'm quite confident. Xbox fans, it's a mad gen. This is the best gen you'll have.
I think it's up to us, isn't it? I mean, if a lot of voices are reaching out, like Xbox, we need seasonal events. When they see the demand, they will come to meet it because they have. It's not like I talked to an Xbox executive in 2019 who was trying to talk about how they were building one of their events, and they said we're excited about what's coming out in the future. Like what we haven't announced yet. That was kind of PR speak for. We don't have anything yet, right? But now that's absolutely not the deal. So they can show tons of games. So I would say, the 600 some people here are watching. If you're on Twitter or Reddit or wherever Xbox people are, because they're listening on social media, just every once in a while, just send out a reminder. We would love to see seasonal events where you showcase, a dozen games and just talk about what's coming in the near future. And I think we can get that voice out there. But shout out to over 650 people watching, and shout out to Peeve 1973 for a new channel member. Welcome to the channel of the Xbox Colteastwood channel. Yeah, guys, give me a little autotune.
What's his name? Peeve, yeah?
Peeve 1973.
Peeve 1973. Welcome.
It's like anachronistic.
There you go.
Anachronistic to have auto tune for like a 1973 thing. I should have grabbed one of the guitars and did a little disco thing, but no, that's too. But thank you. Welcome to the channel. Like I said, if you join the channel, you get early access and monthly merch giveaways. This isn't my merch. I'm actually wearing the Asa and Gaz GameOn Daily shirt. And
you're the only one who has that shirt. Even we don't have that shirt because I put that in the store. And no, did I get that for you? I don't even remember.
Yes,
but
you did.
Ultimately, I did, and that's the only one we printed. So only you have that.
Exclusive. Yeah. Cesar says that was like Fergie and Jesus, which is a classic. I think Talladega Nights reference. But. All right, so let's be not so happy for a moment. Martha is Dead. It was a game I thought was going to be exclusive, but it's on all platforms. It's a first-person interactive simulation horror game, and it's being censored where they cut out an entire short gameplay segment out of the PlayStation version, didn't give their customers the opportunity or option to play or opt out of this content. Gaz, I don't know if you know what happened in the game. I know about it and I've seen it. Would you like me to describe it, or would you like to tell the audience why Martha is dead?
Someone slicing the dead person's face, literally from the skin, but we saw that in The Office, right? Clarice, when Dwight did that to the
let's try and
CPR.
imagine Dwight cutting off the CPR dummy and putting the face on him.
That was such a funny episode. Best episode of The Office. It was so hilarious. So good. Okay, anyway. So
it's a mini game where you have a small razor blade and you have to guide it around.
It is raw. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It is raw.
The art style is not completely realistic, but that moment that I did see is like, how you get like the tingling in the back of your legs.
Yeah, it's a bit unsettling. It's like, but have you played More Kombat 11, people? Have you seen, irrespective of its more comic routines, that game has some raw scenes. Who are Sony to
that is
step
so
in
different, though. There's such a difference. I am so convicted about the difference between chainsawing a guy in half in Doom versus The Last of Us, when you shove a pocket knife into a girl's neck and choke her down, and like that stuff is like horrible.
Last of Us
for me.
2 is
I don't.
Gruesome. It's gruesome, and Cole, I think we don't know. Chances are that is the offending scene, but And we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Dealer made a good point about the fact that what's the point of let the ratings agency deal with it. Why is Sony stepping in and doing that? And just sets a bad precedent for these companies to come in. You've got boards set up for this kind of stuff, unless there's a very specific term in their TOS that this company has breached. But the Xbox and PC don't have that censored, and I'm not an advocate of censoring things like that. I just don't think that. And this is like a U-turn from one of my previous stances years ago when a game called Hatred came out, and I thought that should be banned.
Yes.
That was a game where you just killed everyone. This was like a mass murder simulator, and that felt way too much to me. But even then, I went on the forums. The people there were kind of crazy. But ultimately, I did say, you know what? You're right. I was wrong to say that. I understand it's an art form. It's video games, whatever, if that's what people want. But I'm not an advocate of Sony doing this. So there's that.
Let's talk about censorship, because we can't act like this is like something that's never happened. PlayStation has been ridiculed for the past couple years for censoring a lot of their games, for censoring adult content or violent content here and there, right? But we live in a world when you watch, we grew up in a world where most stuff in movies or TV shows was not there or was cut from movies because it was too much. And there's still a rating board, right? Like you can go to a movie and the movie's rated R for its reasons, but there are scenes that had to be cut out because the ratings board said it was too much. But here with a PlayStation game, they didn't give you the option. Like they could have just said, look, the developers built the game. We're not going to change it. We can't change it, but we could request for the developer to put in a warning at the beginning and an option to skip that moment in the game instead of just removing it, because any PlayStation player or customer cannot experience this whether they want to or not, which is kind of a weird thing to like fight for, right?
Yeah, the only time I see, like I said yesterday on our show, the only time I see even the most hardcore of Sony fanboys actually critique Sony, it's on this. They really don't like censorship, and usually it's because they don't want to. They want the uncensored version, Hatsune Miku Panty Edition, whatever those Japanese like hentai games. There are some weird games now. I'm allowed to say that.
They've had those censored as well. They've had
they had those censored, and I find them weird. It's just weird. So it's just like. With all seriousness, though, you don't want a company stepping in too much. In fact, Microsoft is one I want to keep a keen eye on, because they're the kind of company I would expect them to be.
I would expect it from Xbox
invasive.
before PlayStation, right?
So I saw a content creator, someone mentioned in the chat, defending it, but some content creators will bend over backwards to defend anything PlayStation, and we don't do that here because we attack it, or I will attack Xbox if I want to. Censorship is not. It can be. There's more nuance to this, though. I won't say it's a black and white issue, but there are grays here. But in this case, with that, I just don't think Sony should step in, especially with Xbox and PC allowing it.
That is super weird, because like when you say like a content creator is defending the censorship, like that person, I read the response from that person. That person's saying like, no wonder they censored that. That's pretty messed up. I wouldn't want to experience that. Well, the correct response is, I've heard what's in that game and I don't want to play that, or I would like to skip that, or just not play it. Right. But Miles Dampierre had a really great take, Gaz. He said that he's a big fan of horror. And he says, this is one of those things that gets in the way of horror being what it is. Like, you have to make your audience feel unsettled. You have to make them feel uneasy or sick to their stomach at points.
That's a great point.
And horror fans like this stuff. Now, if you're not, like someone said, I saw someone say, I'm not a fan of horror games, so this should have been censored. It's like, whoa, that's not how it works. But your buddy David Jaffe said David Jaffe has worked with PlayStation for like a decade. He created God of War and Twisted Metal. And he said, I'm not here to tell PlayStation what to do. Like, it's their company. They get to choose whether they censor something or not. How do you feel about that? PlayStation's
He's
choice.
right though. Ultimately, it is the corporation's choice. If they don't want it, don't want it. But don't cry when people move away from your platform because you start doing this in an invasive way. Well, they would U-turn if people started migrating or it became a serious issue. But ultimately, David is right. Like that's it. It's not a democracy, like Phil Spencer said. So it's like these are their private platforms. They don't want that there. They don't want it there. But that doesn't mean we have to sit quietly and accept it. You're in a field where you're competing with other people. You talk about the sanctity of art form. Gaming is an art form, and when you do things like this to compromise that or put stopgaps in it or dilute an original creator's vision, then don't go ahead and say we empower, we embolden and censor. It doesn't work that way. So it's fine. It's your platform, do it, but we will take a on your chests if you dare censor that stuff. Do it. I mean, it's
There's such
right.
a difference between like you can saw a locust in half in Gears and it doesn't back in 2006 it was like whoa, and then you get used to it, right? But there's a difference between it's so weird to say. How do I illustrate this? There's like a personal, like innocent violation, right? Because in the game it's your sister and she's deceased and you're removing her face and it's in a nightmare sequence, it's in a dream. It's not like you're taking out a bad guy. You're not taking out an evil alien and tearing his face off.
Context, right?
That context like really means something, doesn't it? It's kind of hard to illustrate.
Of course it does. Context is everything. When I said hatred should be banned, it was only because of the context. This is coming from a guy who played No Russian in Call of Duty and wiped out everyone, no hesitation. Or GTA would get a prostitute put in the car, get them out, kill them, take the money back. We all did that stuff in the game. It's a gameplay. I'm talking about gameplay.
I like the tip, Gaz.
Sorry, but I like to tip.
You know what's funny? No Russian. The first time I played it,
had an option.
I walked through the whole thing. I was so immersed. I walked through the whole thing.
You walked the whole thing.
I walked the whole thing with that LMG.
Mate,
yeah, it was.
I heard about the controversy. I couldn't wait for the thing. They could have done what? I couldn't wait. I was going to be joking there, but I couldn't wait, and I just went, no Russian. I was like, no hesitation, because ultimately it was just. I knew it was coming. I knew this was a big controversial point. And I looked at the NPCs and they just looked, because you know what? All I saw was a bunch of zeros and ones, lines of code in a video
like you're
game.
in the Matrix, Gaz.
I am Neo. But yeah, it was, I mean, even the NPCs were copy and paste. It's not like they had little kids there or all that stuff. It was just like, you could be playing GTA. I know context matters, but I didn't care. I didn't care for it, and it doesn't make me a bad person. I'm the most softest person on the planet. It seems like in public transport, I'm the only one who cares, because everyone else just walks each other. I thought it sounded like Joker in the Joker movie. But yeah, no, it's just like there's deeper conversation there. Special Nick's like, oh my God, Gaz. Shut the Nick.
I gotta read a comment here from, I'll kind of change the way he said it, but he said like in the Tomb Raider games, like when you fail, like Lara Croft dies in pretty brutally different ways, where it kind of turns the camera and you see her get impaled or fall off and hit a rock really hard, and it's like makes you wince when you see it. And I feel like PlayStation has a lot of games where they elicit a emotional and physical response from you. Especially in The Last of Us Part 2, which I played it to completion. There's a lot of moments where I was just like, it's really tough. It's just interesting that the scene where you're
cutting the person's face off.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it without being brutal, but it's like you move the controller this way,
head,
then this way, then this way, and then you start to pull, and I backed out of the Twitter video because I'm like, and that's as far as I can deal with it.
Miles' take is really good, because in horror, to really further that field, you really need to take risks. The most violent video game doesn't come close to the most violent movies, not even remotely. So if you're talking about video games, a medium that is supposed to be maturing, and we want to tackle these issues, then you can't put these kind of restrictions. You're compromising the developer's artistic license there, and that's not gonna float, assuming that's the offending scene. So like House of the 100,000 corpses. Hostel, have you seen that? There's some messed up movies, man, that are held in high reverence. Have you seen Seven, for instance? That will be like, I get the interactive as gaming evolves, as technology evolves, and Uncanny Valley becomes a thing.
We're already almost there. I mean, games can look as great as you think they possibly could. What's the fix for this, Gaz? Should PlayStation just continue to cut content that they feel protects their customers, or do they need to come back around?
If we finally would definitively know what was the cause, could be something fairly innocuous and they didn't feel. But based on that, chances are it was that scene. If it is, it's not good news. It's not good news. But Sony will get pushback on it and they will revise their policies, I'm sure, if they keep doing this. Yeah.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say that the definitive place to play that is on PC or Xbox. And, I don't know. If that's something you really love, those type of games, those interactive, scary games, you're stronger than I am. But one of the games on Xbox that has seen a decline, a little bit of redemption for Gaz, my guest here, is on PC. The player base has seen a steep decline for Halo Infinite for the multiplayer. Gaz, what is going on? You've been playing this game like every week. You talked about you've been playing Apex, but I've been on Party Chat with you many times when you're still playing Halo Infinite online, giving it its due. What's going on?
That's a redemption story for me. It might be a redemption story for someone like Dr. Disrespect, who said that the game needs Battle Royale or will fade into obscurity or whatever he said. I don't remember. I mean, the reality is, 343, I've talked about it for a while. They need to have a content timeline. Loads of people are now saying, I'm waiting for co-op, and you didn't delay it, fine. The game has some fundamental issues. The netcode, even though they shout out to 343, they released Halo Waypoint explaining how the systems work and what they intend to do, but the positive improvements that they rolled out, go on the forums, lots of issues. There's still no region filter. They've held their hands up and they said, yes, we will get a region filter in there in the future. No any kind of appreciable timeline of when it's coming. So there's that. The game is starting to feel a little bit stale with the maps for Big Team Battle, which wasn't even working for a month, which is thankfully working. For me in the UK, I really want a region filter, because we keep getting lumped in with Americans. As much as we love you guys, the
it's a big ocean.
Integrity, the way getting shot around corners, desync issues, all that is becoming really prevalent. And even they've held their hands up and said the replay mode, when you watch your games back, is fundamentally broken anyway, because it doesn't relay what's actually happening in the game. Watch the blog, read the blog, it makes sense. Halo, I'm confident Halo will be fine in the long run. The reason why I asked for it to be delayed was then it released fully formed in the best light, as wholesome a package with the basic, constituents of a Halo game that we're used to for years. It's dwindling. This is a very tough market, very saturated. Even though Halo's a big name, I know the numbers have dropped drastically. When I saw loads of people on my friends list, now I see none, or I see one maybe.
Was Dr. Disrespect right? 3 or 4 months ago?
Well, there's a rumor going around that another studio, it's so annoying, I hate this if this is true, but chances are it's correct, that a contracted out studio is actually working on another game mode for Halo. It's like, what is it? Is it Battle Royale? Because if it is, oh my God, people need to... I didn't come at Dr. Disrespect when he said that. A lot of people got really defensive. And I do agree with him. I think... Chat, come on. Battle Royale and Halo made for each other, man. They could do so well. But I think it would do really well. I think it would do really well.
Say Ashtray Gaming's in the chat, and he plays a lot of Fortnite. Like, he's one of those guys that's like, you know what? Fortnite is really fun, and I like to play it. And I'm with him. Like, I see the allure. I played a few matches the other night with my son, and we had so much fun. Like, that game has web slingers. So like if you find a pickup, you can swing webs, you can shoot webs and sling across the map. What's that remind you of in Halo?
Yeah.
The grapple shot, right? So it's almost. I know there's probably half of us here that don't care about Battle Royale, don't spend time on Battle Royale. We don't want it. Battle Royale's over. But I think it might be the right fit as an extra mode in Halo, where you come down and you pick up your weapons, and if you get the grapple shot,
the SD drops.
You've got
so much.
Yes,
scope,
it's
vehicles.
so perfect. You've got
It's gonna be so
Warthogs.
good.
You've got the four-wheeler. I'm just blanking on the name. You've got all the vehicles. The Wasp. Like, it could be incredible.
Pelicans.
Can
You can have
imagine?
pelicans flying in there. You've got an open world engine that you've devised, just why the game looks the way it looks. But then you can use that open world, big, large scale
Just
gameplay.
stitch biomes together and build.
But the game can't even handle netcode on arena mode. You're telling it to have like big battle royale.
Epic Games is doing it. Let me know.
Yeah.
Let Gaz and I know. Like, we're kind of championing for a battle royale mode for Halo, and I might not play it that much. I might actually play it more than I play the multiplayer right now. But let us know if you're on board with this, especially if Gaz is hearing that some other studio would be supplementing that work and leaving 343 to take care of Forge, take care of campaign, expansions, and all the more important stuff, right?
I'm just saying that's what I think Jess Corden and Windows Central reported on another studio working on a different game mode. But yeah, ultimately, I think, you know what, 343, get your house in order, get the basics right, get your co-op, get your Forge, get the content roadmap for when are we going to see more content. Also, campaign, man, the way the game ended, you need to release. I thought, and clearly I'm in the minority, which annoys me, I thought there's going to be a little bit more pushback on the campaign and the story. So, all right, the way you've left it that way, tell us when we're going to get the next episode of it. Show a little bit more. You've been very transparent, but it feels a little bit hollow when you haven't got, when are the things coming? When is co-op coming? When is Forge? So, player numbers have dropped. Long term, I'm sure Halo will be fine. They seem to be working really hard to fix it. More important than that, 343 as a studio needs to be settled. Stop relying on contractors. I don't know what it will take, but if it's Staten, whoever's at the helm, make sure that studio, 343, working on your flagship title is rock solid. And I don't know how you're going to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, I kind of think they use all the help they can get at this point, but they've got a massive franchise that has to be just kicking butt at all times. If you're enjoying the show, this is XNC Podcast. Please hit the like button to show your support. A bunch of you in the chat, like, going crazy and contributing to the show in a really big and major way. So I'd like to get up to 500 likes before we get that far. So minimize the chat for a second. I think there's if you're on the mobile, there's a transparent like and dislike thing. You can hit dislike if you want, but show your support of the channel. We absolutely love it. I'm here with Gaz from GameOn Daily. Him and Asa run an aggregate podcast and show and site. Let me get the words together. There they go. They have a nice platform that gives you all of your news and some crazy sauce when you need it most. So I got a couple supers here. None your business. What a great name. The way it was spelled took me a minute. Thank you so much for the $5 super. He says, I mean, look how different Hellblade would be if they got rid of the psychological aspect, as we talk about, making unsettling things. This is another part of the topic that he keyed in on. Phil Spencer said that he wants their games to be bigger and better, and the Hellblade developers, Ninja Theory, said that Hellblade 2 is going to make the first game look like an indie game. And if you know your stuff, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice looks fantastic, especially in performance mode. So,
and if you really know your stuff, you'd know that the first Hellblade was an indie game. So it's poor choice of wording from the people who made the game. Do you know
well, I mean, Ninja Theory they've kind of contradicted that, right? Because they said, we were basically an indie studio before Microsoft picked us up, but they're feeling huffy and puffy about themselves.
That gets us excited, doesn't it, chat? No, but look at it. Just look at it. I mean, what game looks better than Hellblade 2, man? And then when he says, Tamim, he's on Instagram. He's like, if I was a game dev, I'd be like him. He's just partying with these beautiful people and models and stuff, and he's just like living the life, and I'm like, oh, you saucy guy, but are you actually doing anything with the game? And
he's a G, man. He is so cool, and he's so like when he does the developer docs, like he gets in front of that camera, like he just performs, and he gets people super stoked and in the mood for Hellblade Senua's Saga. So
So at one point I was concerned. I'm like, this guy's partying too hard. But yeah, I think I do follow him, and on Insta as well. And he is his studios looks like they're having a lot of fun making that game. I'm really excited. I have some concerns about Hellblade in terms of the gameplay department, because what they showed last time seemed to be really linear or very like curated, very obviously. Like
a kind of set piece where
it's very minimal gameplay
where it would take control in and away from you, which is actually something that PlayStation games do a lot, and they do very well, of giving you this really incredible moment that you're not in control of, and then giving you the controls to push a button, push a button, aim, push another button to throw the spear at the troll, and then it says turn and run, and I don't know, maybe if you run to the right you get like caught on fire, I don't know, but it does look really cool.
I have faith in them. The studio is quite malleable with the games that it's worked on, Heavenly Sword and things like that. Combat, they've heard the critiques from the first game. Combat was kind of punchy, but very basic and needed to work, and I'm sure they will do that. So there's a lot of room there. I'm not overly critical of Hellblade because it looks really nice. The studio's got a great pedigree, and what we saw actually just blew our minds. I was like, yo, when my younger brother, who's a bit of a PlayStation fanboy, actually said that looks amazing, I'm like, all right, okay.
Like this, he's like, Hellblade looks amazing.
He was like, oh, okay, fine, fine, it looks good, and it does. Fine. He's not that bad. He's not MBG, but he's like, sorry.
Hargeek Johnny, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. He says, is King of the Hill close enough to be Battle Royale for a mode for Halo? Man, I haven't played those in so long. I think just stick with Gaz and I think if somebody is putting together Battle Royale, if 343 does it, like I just think it would do really, 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 really well. I just can't imagine Battle Royale at this point. I had a different opinion months ago, right? But at this point, Gaz, I think Battle Royale would do really well for Halo.
I've always said this. I've said it from ages. I was so excited. I want a Battle Royale Halo. I know some people are crying like the Battle Royale would destroy Halo. I mean, people, like, you've tolerated quite a lot of shortcomings. No co-op, no Forge, a story that's barely a story after waiting for years. And then now you're going to cry about an additional game mode somehow hurting Halo. I'm still saying fix the basics, Battle Royale. If you don't like the game mode, don't play it. But generally, I think it could do really well.
I have to add to this, and it's something Halo should be doing for multiplayer. I think it would make the game so much more interesting. Battle Royale, where you drop in as a Spartan, an ODST, an Elite, a Brute. Like, wouldn't it be great if you drop in this world and the people that you see are not just a bunch of Spartans in different colors? It could make it so much more interesting. I don't know why they don't use more bipedal humanoid playable characters. Like, remember Mass Effect 3 multiplayer where you could play as an Asari, you could play as a Grunt, you could play as a Geth or whatever, because they were all like they were on 2 feet and they could hold a weapon. So basically the structure of the game, you could play these multiplayer modes alongside with other characters. And Gears does this where you can play as the Locust or the Swarm, or you can play as the Cogs, right? And so it's cool, like when you come in and you're playing as a Locust. Like, I think Halo needs to do that with their multiplayer.
There's a lot that needs to let them get the basics right, but that is like postulating over something that could be good. But people are like, oh man, we don't want it. You don't want it. Some of us do, and that's, I think it would fit Halo for me. But yeah,
and you don't have to play the mode if you don't want to play the mode.
You
Leave options. Options are king. Astra Gaming with the Australian $8 super says, apparently having an opinion on Halo makes these guys cry.
Halo stands are the worst. They're the worst. You're the reason why Halo sucks in many different ways. You're the reason. You are the reason. Come at
as crummy as it is, like I had Halo
not playing.
stands attack me. Remember when I called you and I'm like,
You have to be more specific. You cry a lot on the phone. I'm joking.
Gaz! Sorry if I broke your eardrums, guys. I really apologize. When the Halo flighting started, I'll tell a quick story before we move on. Halo flighting started. I got invited to the first round. Now, I shouldn't say round because the head of 343 Halo's PR called me out on Twitter and said, Colt, you need to check with your people at Xbox because we're not doing the flighting in waves. And everyone's like, oh, Colt's a liar. He didn't get in. Oh, he's making it up. He didn't get in the flighting. And what happened a month later? We're announcing the second wave of flighting. We're going to invite more people. Oh, I took so much heat for that. I don't know if you remember how heartbroken I was.
Man.
And people were just that's when that story was to point out the Halo stance. Like big people are way bigger Halo fans than me, hated me because I got invited in. So
look at Hidden Xperia, bro. That guy's got 1 million subs, I think, or something stupid. And he's the biggest Halo fan. We disagree on the campaign, but he just listed out and said it's abysmal. They got their monetization on prioritized, didn't they? So egregious in their score. This is coming from a guy who has spent a lot of money on Apex Legends packs, and I'm telling you that season 1 of Battle Royale is always crap anyway, or season packs like that. But like he is scathing. Most Halos, like there is a problem. I don't want to knock on Halo too much, but people really hate it. They really hate it, and that kind of fuels me because I'm like, shut up. But it's up to you, man. Whatever. I don't know. I've got to keep it real.
I love the game. I love the campaign. It was a great time, and I love the feel of the game. So it can only get better. They seem to keep working on it, and we can't harp on Halo forever. But thank you, Ashtray, for saying that sometimes people cry at opinions, and that is how it goes sometimes. So one of the other things that Phil said about their new games is he said Starfield, which we are so due to see. And of course, that'll be at the E3 showcase. That's Todd Howard and the Bethesda MO. A few months before the game comes out, they show you everything. They show you final product, and then they polish that summer, and the game comes out in the fall. So he said that he expects Starfield to be one of their most played games ever. Is what their expectation is.
How can that?
But it's not on PlayStation.
I was just about to say that.
Go ahead.
In order for him to say that it's not on, that he expects it to be the most played game, and it's not on the industry leading kind of gaming console platform. They're very more than the numbers. I get really reassured by their confidence about that because they see the game running in the background. I've seen Todd Howard really talk about the specifics in the game very passionately within the specifics of the factions. It's coming across, it just oozes confidence, and this statement right there just is the cherry on top. Like, they think this is, without PlayStation, it's going to be one of the most played games. That means this game has a lot of scope, a lot of hooks. It could be, oh man, you know me, man. I love sci-fi. For me, Dune number 1. I love sci-fi. My dream game is sci-fi. This could be it. Like a Fallout set in space, hard sci-fi, exploring planets.
You know what I love?
Sky. Yeah.
You know what I love, as dumb as it sounds, but I know we're probably all guilty. I love games where you're like, and you go through a drawer and you grab things and you put in your inventory, and then you grab things and you have stuff, and then you put it together and you craft it, and then you improve, and then you're out when you're killing or doing or exploring, you're getting XP, and then you get to put those points in your character. And I know that describes a lot of games, but I recently was playing Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. I was recently playing Prey like a year ago. What other games are doing this? Dying Light does it. You rifle through drawers and cabinets and you grab stuff, and everything you grab has a use. I love that. And the whole thing, what you're describing, is Starfield gets you out in your ship that you customize, and you go to these different planets that are different, like Star Wars. You get to this planet that looks like this, and there's these types of people and this kind of architecture. It's going to be so big, and it's so weird that people downplay Starfield. Man, we haven't seen it. It's like you haven't seen KOTOR yet. You haven't seen Final Fantasy 17 or 16 or whatever's coming out. Like, I don't know.
No,
That's just
what you described, rifling through things and taking then applying XP bars. What the? That's the opposite of what I like. No.
Is it really?
Yeah,
well, and we're kicking Gaz off the show, and it'll just be no. Actually, chat, like, I know this show. I just started this show, and I feel like almost every week, this is my 40th episode. The people that I get on, like, we mostly agree, like 98% of the time. That would be nice. Wait, which side are you on, Gaz? Let me look at my...
The other side. Left. You're left. You're left.
Yes,
there,
it would be nice
there.
for me to choke you once in a while for us to and have a disagreement. So tell me why I'm wrong. Go.
Well, okay, so, I mean, that's your... you're not wrong. That's your taste. What I'm hoping Starfield is like is actually, not this little... Fallout games, these games actually do rely on those systems. They have all these subsystems in their game. Yeah. So actually what you want is what you like is probably what you're going to get. For me, why I'm excited about Starfield is the more... okay, let me explain what my dream game is. It's like in space. This is not what Starfield is, by the way, chat. But just hints of this would be great. You have your crew. Every crew, like real online crew, and each crew has its own. You have a medic, you have an engineer, you have a pilot. Actual, like Mass Effect, real life, like your friends online. You enter into planet's atmosphere, real time. Do you remember that movie Pitch Black with Vin Diesel? You just land in a plane. You crash. You have to repair the ship, figure things out. That kind of deep sci-fi, Star
together.
Citizen, but like something an actual game, but. Something like that is my dream. Starfield is exactly what you said, and based on what Todd Howard has explained the game, it's like that kind of Fallout / Skyrim in space. Loads of systems, upgrade yourself, and the details are scarce, but then there's all these factions. It sounds very Dune, and it's all about exploration. There's so many planets, and how they're going to reconcile deep lore and intelligent, life, alien life. This is the game they've said they've wanted to make for the best part of 2 decades, but they couldn't because the technology was holding them back. This is finally them realizing it. And when Todd Howard recently talked about it, he talked about it with such passion that I am without having seen. And those who say we need to see a little bit of gameplay, you're absolutely spot on. I do agree with you. I do 100% agree with you because I want to see how the gameplay system works. Is there combat? There will be. How's that going to work? How's exploration going to work? How vast is the exploration? How many planets can you visit? How the dialogue works? What the facial animations are with NPCs? There's a lot there. But generally, I'm very excited. I'm getting very good vibes from this game. Unlike Crossfire.
Yeah, I mean, there's like little investigations that I've done when I've created videos on my channel about it. Looking at the UI, like you can have a melee weapon, or you have obviously your projectile firearm weapons. We saw the gun in the non-gameplay trailer. So I would assume that you can change the camera to third person, but it plays better in first person. That's just how their games work. But I know people fall back on Fallout 76, but Skyrim was absolutely massive. Fallout 4 was absolutely massive. Like, these are generation-defining games that Bethesda makes. And I saw a lot of people in the chat saying, like, this could be a Game of the Year contender. This is going to be a big deal. And this game from Bethesda, who makes the most immersive, greatest Western RPGs on the planet, is going to release this game not on a PlayStation console. It's nuts.
That's why people are downplaying it, because let's be honest, a lot of people refused to believe it was going to be exclusive. They were saying it with their chest. It's not going to happen. You cannot ignore a PlayStation, the PlayStation platform, because the game, it's too big a platform. And yes, they are. This is not going to come on PlayStation. So it's going to be, look, let's be honest. PlayStation has an incredible year. It's got Horizon Forbidden West. God of War is already a Game of the Year contender. We haven't even got it near release. You've got Gran Turismo, which I'm a bit iff about, but they've got great games. And Sifu, I think, is amazing, sublime, but I don't think it's going to win any Game of the Year awards. Unfortunately, I think it's a great game. Starfield is Xbox's, and I don't think Redfall is the game. I'll be pleasantly surprised if it is, but I think Starfield is Xbox's best chance to win a Game of the Year award, the Game of the Year contender.
I think Redfall will charm, but I think Starfield is the one that's going to turn a lot of heads.
If it hits a 90 plus meta, can you imagine? Starfield, Xbox exclusive, boom. That would be, that's insane. I know people say don't care about Metacritic, but it would be, the optics wise, it would be mad.
Yeah.
And players are investing that much time, like Phil Spencer says. That means this game is something incredible. Again, take it with a pinch of salt. We haven't seen the game. And I hope it's not buggy mess, because Bethesda.
I think it will, and it goes back to the beginning of our show where some of us will excuse some of the things because we're having so much fun. That's always happened to me in games like that. But I don't know. They're so confident about this date that I think things should be launching pretty well. It's not like Fallout 76 where they had to rely on a big, multiplayer thing to get working and all that stuff. This is the game they really wanted to make. And Todd Howard has pretty much almost apologized for Fallout 76. So I'm expecting big things. He really has. He really has. We are running close to out of time, but I want to talk about this interpretation of Activision's games. They're big franchises going multi-platform. I don't know. Let me see if I can grab the quote really quick, and then I'll kind of give you the reins on this one.
Should I read the super
one
chats?
Quote? There's this one quote here. This means that all existing licensing and marketing agreements on PlayStation for Call of Duty or any unknown... that's my words. Let me find this. First, some commenters have asked whether they will continue to make popular content like Activision's Call of Duty available on competing platforms like Sony's PlayStation. The obvious concern is that Microsoft could make this title available exclusively on the Xbox console, undermining opportunities for PlayStation users. To be clear, these are Microsoft's words. To be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation through the term of any existing agreement with Activision. We've already heard that before. And we have committed, this is what I want you to speak on, Gaz. Sorry, I didn't have this cut out, and we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement and into the future so that Sony fans can continue to enjoy the games they love.
Yeah, this has been a very divisive topic. Special Nick, if you're still in the chat, I'm going to end you. No, me and him, we've been talking about this. He's convinced this only relates to Warzone and existing COD IPs. I can see how you can read that. I just can't see how you can because this is his argument. I think this intent is clear. So let's.
Okay, wait. Let me interrupt you, because I've read this a million times. I did a video on this on Wednesday or something, and we have committed to Sony that we will also make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement. Meaning, if they had a marketing agreement with Infinity Ward's Call of Duty that comes out next year, they're saying into the future, meaning that game will never leave the PlayStation platform.
It's more to do with when they say we will continue to make Call of Duty, and the question is what constitutes Call of Duty in that very vague statement, because Call of Duty is Warzone and they could just be alluding to live action games, not the annual or whatever COD games. So the vagueness about that is what Dealer also pointed out to. It's lacking sufficient detail, and they said we've committed that we will make them available on PlayStation beyond the existing agreement to make Call of Duty whatever, and there's the room for interpretation there, and I just disagree with that, mainly because this is a PR statement. You can't just hoodwink the regulators, because when it comes down to finally sitting down with them, you don't think they're going to ask that question? Well, you've just said this. You made this article is actually addressed to regulators. It's literally titled, where is it gone? Adapting Ahead of Regulation, a Principled Approach to App Stores. Do understand that this is primarily actually talking about a bigger chunk of the mobile market, Apple, iPhone. That's what this blog was addressing, but this little smaller chunk comparatively is the only thing really we have on as far as COD and exclusivity is concerned. My point is this, right? I think they will do it in the immediacy beyond just live service games, beyond Warzone, but eventually over time it will trickle away and one day it will become exclusive. Same way with Bungie and Destiny and whatever they're working on. I don't think they're trying to hoodwink regulators. I do agree they're trying to appease them, but
Yes.
they're not stupid as well. And one day they will have to sit down and find the details. And the regulators can retrospectively go back on past deals. My point is this.
On closed deals?
On closed deals, like now they're doing it with Facebook and WhatsApp. They're going lasering them. They're really putting them through the paces. And Facebook and WhatsApp is just, they've assimilated for years. How are you going to even separate that? Is it even just possible? And I get both sides of the argument. I'm on one side. I said I don't want COD to be. I want COD to be exclusive. All right, Xbox guy, whatever. But I actually think it's good for the industry.
I don't care what you want, Gaz. What do you think they're going to do? Because the end of the statement sounds like, oh, they're old games. Like I can kind of see where like Special Nick from Xbox Era is saying, oh, they're just talking about these games that are being built in the next couple of releases that are already planned to be on PlayStation. But the very first part of the sentence that I'll read again that you lasered in on is, my eyes like, where'd it go? Yeah, where did it go? Oh my gosh. Asked whether we'll continue to make copter content on competing platforms. Oh, I highlighted. I'm so dumb. I'm sorry. It's like I'm frazzled today. Microsoft, they start off with the statement saying, to be clear, Microsoft will continue to make Call of Duty and other popular Activision Blizzard titles available on PlayStation. So if you isolate that, which you can't do when you're looking at PR speak, you can't just isolate and take one thing out of context. But that sentence itself says, we will continue to make Call of Duty games, meaning as games are made, Call of Duty games come out for the future, and anything popular Activision titles, whatever they consider popular, will always release on PlayStation. That means no exclusivity in that term. Right? To
me, if you read it that way and you just say, hey, Call of Duty doesn't mean, it means all Call of Duties, then yeah, to me, and I'm on the same fence with you, if that's what you think, I think that means it quite clearly. I think the intent is clear. You don't make these statements like that in the view to try and like fool regulators. They will come down and talk about this. Well, you said this. This is what it reads like. Why did you make this statement? I mean, we know... Like Dealer Gaming said they had to make this statement when they did. And I thought, why are you even talking about this? Like, it's not even time yet. Let me read a couple supers, and I want to ask you specifically about where Call of Duty should stand. Hargeet Chani has 2 super chats. I'll lump them together. Thank you so much for the $2 super chats. He says, still annoyed Halo came without co-op. # delay Halo. Hargeet Chani is one of those fans that wanted to play with his friends day one. So you have to understand that. Mythishil with the New Zealand 349 says New Zealand is their currency now. Anyway, thank you, Mythishil, if I said that right. It says maybe they'll put Starfield on mobile. Not maybe, yes, Starfield will be available day one on mobile via xCloud, or as they call it, game streaming on Xbox. And Hargeet Channing, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He says, in all the Call of Duty discussion, the assumption is that now Hargeet's a smart dude, so listen to what he says. He says, in all the COD discussion, the assumption is that regulators will look at a specific game as a monopoly. Why? Game Pass is a potential console/PC maybe. So I want to ask you guys, based off of what Hargeet's saying, like, where do you think Call of Duty stands? Because I think Microsoft has a different idea of what they think Call of Duty should be doing in the future. So what do you think is actually going to happen? I think COD is going to stay on PlayStation. I think it will be. I think it doesn't need to be exclusive on Xbox. Guys, we are getting, like, Xbox fans are getting day and day on Game Pass. That's a huge win. You think people like spending money when they unnecessarily?
$70? Yeah, $70 in North America. Ashtray, if you're in the chat, he still is. How much is Call of Duty outright in Australia? Because they have a significant price increase compared to the States. Canadians pay a little bit more for games. Go ahead, Gaz.
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of money there. Like that, it's annually as well. You're paying that much versus getting it for free with the cost of a subscription on XGP. It's huge, man. Like, when I did the Source video, I even anticipated then. I'm like, even if Xbox are feeling charitable, is what I said, being a troll, they will put it on Game Pass. PlayStation guys, are you now funding the games for Xbox? You know, that's a lot of money. $120 in chat. There's a lot of money there. Like Minecraft Dungeons, like my buddy Mo said, a really good point about that being like that didn't need. Why is Minecraft Dungeons on PlayStation? It didn't need to be on PlayStation.
Right. Yeah, it's a new game in the Minecraft franchise.
It's a big win. You know, it's a big win for Xbox either way.
This Microsoft executive was talking to CNBC and said that we're treating this Activision Blizzard merger like the Minecraft situation. And I'm like, no, don't say that.
Was like, no, yeah.
And I also feel like he's speaking out of turn, like Microsoft executive did about the Bethesda thing. I don't know if you remember a couple months after the Bethesda announcement for the merger, he said that we're going to continue to bring Bethesda games to competing platforms, and that is a lie. That's not happening, right?
That's what Dealer put in his video, and he's right, and that's why it makes it more murky. I'm like, is this a repeat of the muddly, wrong, erroneous messaging? Because one of the definitive statements here and their statement of intent kind of clashes with the whole, the quote that Fonzarelli, he always plays in his little thing, platforms where Game Pass exists. So yeah, I don't know. It can go either way. I'm still resolutely thinking, based on this, that it's coming to PlayStation. But for Xbox guys who were upset by this, why? What do you mean? Like, COD is Xbox. Yeah.
There's two things here. If I can remember them, but one thing is, like Hargeet says, is Call of Duty really a monopoly? Because it's going to be on Game Pass. It's on Xbox One, Xbox Series consoles, PC, and any mobile device that supports Game Pass. A Kindle, an Android, an iOS, an iPad, a PC browser, whatever, right? So Call of Duty would be anywhere but a PlayStation console. Because it's not really on Nintendo, right? The other part of this is, playing devil's advocate, Microsoft and Xbox don't care about the console war. Like, they're not worried about where the
PlayStation is.
They're not worried about what PlayStation gets or doesn't get. Like, they're not worried about selling consoles. PlayStation Xbox can sit back and go, we can make $2 billion off of the PlayStation just by keeping that game there. That's just free money. Let them buy it. We get way more profit off of there because we get all the money from PlayStation, and it's a cash cow. And of course, it doesn't do anything for us. You want to have a list war, right? But the whole idea here is, we didn't get into the metaverse, but Xbox is poised to build the metaverse, a big gaming platform where everyone can come together and play. And they have that leverage. PlayStation doesn't quite have that yet, even though they're so big. And Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook is trying, but he doesn't have the foothold. So something really big and different is happening with acquisitions. It's why we're seeing Bungie come in and not promise or commit to make exclusive games or pull games off of Xbox.
Very clearly,
There's something so strange going on here. For Xbox, remember the old saying, you don't spend $6.8 billion to put your games on PlayStation, Bethesda, right? That was this. Now we're saying you're going to spend 10 times more and keep them on PlayStation. Something bigger is happening that is so much bigger in the games industry than we are even ready for. And I don't know when we're going to hear about it.
That's well said. Yeah, that's true.
So crazy.
Like, the number is so astronomically huge comparatively to Bethesda that's like, the game industry has changed. It's changing. It's all as scary as it sounds. It's all about the metaverse, and it's all changing. The moment Sony spent $3.6 billion and on a studio that is still going to committed to multi-platform games is a massive warning sign of where it's going, an indicator of where the industry is heading. Console exclusivity, the console wars, all that is changing. It's all going to be service-based.
And PlayStation, right? They're going to go start putting their games on PC en masse. They're going to inch into this situation where they put their games on PlayStation day and date. They're going to announce Spartacus, which the PlayStation fanboys are going to say is the best thing since sliced faces.
Let that happen.
The exclusivity argument will dissolve away in its own way. It will be so different. It'll be so changed. Gaz, this has been an amazing show. We've reached our time limit. I would really like to encourage you, if you have time, to check out Fonz's show, which goes live here in just a moment. But this has been the XNC Podcast. Please hit the like button if you had a good time, if you learned some things. We have way more we want to talk about. I'll have to continue another time. Gaz, I'd love to have you on as much as possible. Now's your chance to brag about what you and Asa are doing in the space on your channel. Sell yourself. Sell yourself.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. I love coming on XNC. It's like talking to one of my best friends. So it's like light work. So thank you again. I love it. Love you, chat. Delay Halo, your lovely community. Everyone let's just be civil or not. It's up to you. I'm not going to control that. GameOnDaily.com is a platform that we've invested quite a lot in. One day the mobile app will be ready and it will be but the app, we spent money just to build it there to show you, look, this is it, the proof of concept. I mean, it works. There's a lot of intricate systems there. We've got a YouTube channel called GameOn Daily, one word. We've got some of the best cuts, like montages made by Kane. I do most of the editing on the channel, the source videos, and we've got another non-source video on Xbox and its IPs coming, then a PlayStation one. We're multi-console. We're not Xbox exclusive, even though I love Xbox. So please check it out. Thank you so much. And I'm going to paste Fonzarelli's channel in the chat. Carry on the discussion there. I'm sure they're gonna have a great one. But please smash that like button aggressively. Share it out.
Let me put your channel in here.
Hard. Colt works really hard on YouTube. He cries on the phone daily, but every detail, every edit. Have you seen his timeline?
I was working on my video
insane.
for so long.
That's all I hear. I'm so sick and tired of it. Shut the and just make the video.
My fingers hurt from all the keyboard clicking and whatnot. Thank you so much. I am building a big video. I don't know if anybody will care, but I'm really excited about it. I'm recording a lot of footage. We'll see how it goes. But you guys have been absolutely amazing. Well over 600 people who checked out XNC on a Sunday. Like, hey, why are you guys here? But Super Bowl starts in a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours. And tomorrow's Valentine's Day. If you celebrate that sort of thing, kisses and whatnot. But we've had a really good time. Gaz, thank you so much. This is the XNC Podcast live on the Colteastwood channel. It'll also be up on demand. You can go back and listen to what we had said about Platinum Games and some stuff that went on with Phil this week. It's some amazing stuff. And it'll also be on Spotify, Google, and Pocket, and Apple Podcasts for the audio version for the ear candy. You guys have been absolutely great. Thank you so much, chat. We're going to get out of here and enjoy the rest of the day. Check out Fonz's show and
be nice.
Be nice. I was going to say be nice, but sauce.
Sauce.
Oh, I love it.